Astrotometry log, it is July 18th, 2011. It's approximately 0919 UTC at the time of this recording. This is an informal earthquake watch based on this coronal disturbance. And this is a fairly significant coronal hole that is flanked by 3 different active regions. And I don't really know how to call this one because of the active regions. If it was a single active region, and if the hole had opened suddenly, it would be a lot easier to call. But because there's 3 active regions, because of the unusual configuration, I don't really know how to call this. The size of the coronal hole is very concerning. This is a fairly large hole. It's something that I would normally associate with a quake over 7 point in magnitude, possibly over 8 in magnitude. The shape, with it extending across the equator and having this active feature interrupting it, is very unusual. I haven't seen one like this for quite a while, especially one of this size. This is a more recent image of the coronal hole, and you can see the active regions are still here. I'm suspecting that this is associated with activity that has been going on near the Fiji Islands, down here near American Samoa. And I'm suspecting that it could be even a shadow of this activity. This might be the activity associated with this hole. But because there are the active regions around it, because these active regions are here, it may be the case that this is something that is actually forward in time. And the solar wind from this particular disturbance is arriving right now. This is the latest data, and this is July 18th. And so we're seeing this solar wind spike from this hole right now. And so this is actually the time when this quake would be the most likely to happen. Now, when this solar wind tapers back off, it's possible that we'll see this activity punctuated. In other words, about 48 hours from the time that this normalizes, we could see quake activity near this corresponding latitude on the Earth. But that's very iffy because of these active regions. If one of these active regions explodes, the solar wind from this region could be changed in such a way that would defy a symmetric correspondence with the way that it's moving through time-space. And so this is something that I'm watching. It's not something that I'm sure enough about to have made a formal watch. So this is an informal watch. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, as the solar cycle becomes more active, these techniques that I've been using to forecast the earthquakes are going to become more difficult. These are additional variables, these active regions. They're sorts of, you might think of them as dimensional foci or folds in the time-space continuity of the Earth's translation. Now, the folds in the time-space continuity don't always associate with the seismic events, but when there are these coronal holes, there is a very, very strong correlation between the seismic events and these holes. So the watch is until 48 hours after this solar wind normalizes. And again, the most likely area is this area here, possibly near a little farther north. It's possible that it could be over here in Indonesia. The shape is indicative. It's very similar to this shape of plates right here. So there's a form similarity that's actually mirrored with this area right here. There's another area up here, which is in the ring of fire that has a breakage. You can see this breakage right here. There's also been activity here in Indonesia that this could be the foreshadow for. I don't expect that it will be up above the equator here. It's possible. The active regions, having so many active regions, makes it a sort of wild card, and so I don't know on the location or really the time on it. Unfortunately, like I said before, it's possible that it will be over here in South America, up in the northern part of South America. It's unlikely. I think that it's very unlikely, and I think it's very unlikely we'll see anything over 6.5 up above the equator. There is another part of this region that is above the equator that could correspond with something. I don't suspect this will be over 6.5. It's possible, but I don't expect that the corresponding quake activity associated with this particular part of the hull is going to be over 6.5. But I'm suspecting that this could be over 7, possibly over 8. Thanks for watching.